Welcome to Real Tea. I am your host, Benjamin Maynard.
And I'm your co-host, Ted Bogert.
And today we have, for the first time, our first guest ever.
Our first guest.
I'm so
excited.
Her name is Laura Fangman. I'm going to let her introduce her lovely, beautiful self.
I had no idea that I was the first guest.
Surprise!
So, no pressure. That's fantastic.
No pressure at all.
I'm Laura Fangman. I am a realtor, a broker here in Florida. I'm also licensed in Tennessee and Virginia, and currently working in the property management space, which has been very interesting relative to the residential real estate I'd practiced before.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I met Laura, oh God, I think it was... Oh, right. So I met, I forgot about this. So I had created an event at the Citrus Club that was for Pixel agents, but it was open to other people attending.
That's right.
But I didn't realize that it had been posted on Eventbrite as a public event. And
is that my fault?
No,
it was Edward's fault.
We programmed it.
Okay, good.
And so she shows up at the Citrus Club. She's like sitting there. And somebody finally asked her, oh, are you here for an event? And she goes, yeah, I'm here for, I don't even remember what the event was now, but.
Like a year-end or business planning for the next.
Yeah, it was like a round table.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was
It was a great event.
A lot of my agents came out. It was great, but Laura was the only outside agent that showed up. But I had a minor panic attack because I'm like, oh my God, there's this list out there that I don't know about. So I was worried like 100 people were going to walk through the door.
No, you're safe. Realtors don't go to anything.
Ambitious, right? I was like, oh, okay, well, that was a little over ambitious, but I was worried.
It all worked out.
And so I was like, oh my God, where did you register? Like, how did you hear about this? So I was like freaking out. So then she felt like she wasn't welcome.
Oh no.
And then I was like,
I did feel a little awkward, but I never felt unwelcome.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Oh,
you guys
good.
were gracious
No, it
and
was
wonderful,
fun.
and there was enough cheese for everyone.
Yeah.
So, no
oh my
problem.
God, that's right. It was the
Cheese.
cheese day.
well, because they made me do a food and beverage.
Oh my God,
minimum
that's
at the
right.
Citrus
That's
Club.
right.
It was lovely.
Right.
Santa was there.
It's expensive.
It's delicious.
Oh, right. Yeah, he was in town and we did it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You had a great turnout.
We did, yeah. We had Nick and Nareet and Ben, I think, even came.
Yeah. Didn't
I
you have
remember
somebody
Nick.
from out of state?
Anthony, yeah.
Anthony
Santa.
came, right?
So
that was Santa.
During the holidays,
A little
Anthony
slow.
does a Santa thing where he goes around and does
Very cool.
real estate events and he plays Santa.
Oh.
So I think he also has a picture of him in a Speedo with just a Santa hat.
Ooh.
It's out there somewhere. It's
I'm not going to go looking.
It's pretty good.
No offense, Anthony.
I love him. He's so funny.
Oh, Lord have
How
mercy.
did you meet Laura?
Did we meet?
It had to have been at one of these things.
One of these things, right?
It was just within the last year, yeah.
Actually, we just crossed. We might be looking at 14 months at this point, because it wasn't that long ago that I ran up and I said, "Oh, look, you showed up in my Facebook memories a year ago today." So it must
That's
be-
right. Yeah. It was probably at some
It was probably at St.
educational
Lawrence.
event. Yeah, it could have been at St. Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. St.
It
Lawrence
was
does
beautiful.
great events.
I mean, it's pretty great to meet these people. I just moved here 2 years ago. I think we're going on 3 years now.
Has
But-
it been that long?
Yeah, I know.
When was the Aura event that we met at?
It was October 2023.
Wow.
Because I moved here May of 2023, and I had just gotten my business license in August.
Wow.
And so I was like, I'm going to go to this Aura event. And, I think I've told this story before, but like, I don't know if you've heard it,
No.
but Edward and I went to, it was the young professionals top
Yeah,
20
25 under 40 or
25 under 40 or something like that. It was an awards thing, which like talk about going into the freaking, what do they call it?
Abyss.
A viper pit.
Oh, a viper.
Oh.
We could have gone
And,
anywhere with that.
I was just standing there and all these people, and I tried to talk to people and they're like, oh, it's nice to meet you. And then they would walk away. Wouldn't really give me the time. And I was like a little overwhelmed and out of my element. In Ohio and DC, I could walk to a room. I knew like at least 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like in the professional realm. I didn't really know anyone. And so Ted's walking by in this flashy sequins jacket. It's the silvery one.
Yeah.
And the like studded shoes.
Mm-hmm. Those are my
And
favorite.
Edward stops him and goes, "Hey, I like your jacket." And he turns around and he goes, "Why, thank you." And he goes, "I'm Ted Bogert." And so from there on, he talked to us for like 20 minutes. And it was, he's like, "Let's grab lunch." And I was like, "You know what? Let's do it." And so I came and met him at the
That was
club
awesome. Well, there were two reasons. First of all, I love a couple of reasons. I love anybody who will introduce themselves to me that's not icky. The icky people. We could do a whole show on icky people introductions. And then I also love someone I don't know at an event because I knew everyone there.
Yeah.
And then because I knew everyone there, it was so nice to talk to somebody new.
Yeah.
And you can read into that however you'd like. Mainly because it's same stuff, right? There's a lot of self-promotion. That's what those events are about. It's good for the ego. And it was so nice to not have to talk about that. It really was.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I loved it. And that's how we met.
How long have you been in Orlando?
I've been in the area, I think we're at around 4 years, something like that. It was during COVID that I started coming down. Yeah.
Nice.
So tell us why, I don't know if you said this live. I think you did. Why you made that comment about property management world versus the regular residential real estate world.
Oh, because they are two very different things.
They are. So which one is worse?
I don't know that I can answer that. So I am very fortunate that the position that I'm in, while I do work for our property management team, it's sales. Basically, whether I'm talking to agents who maybe are at a brokerage that doesn't offer property management, or networking with other people, or if I'm talking directly with a homeowner to explain the services and how we operate. Yes, it's about property management, but I personally am not managing properties. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants
It's
that.
a very hard business. A lot of realtors, I think, want to dabble because either the market's been a challenge for them and they're like, oh, I could be a property manager. And all of a sudden they realize that is not worth the 10% of the rent I get.
It is not for everybody. And honestly, the complaints and the issues that show up at FREC are almost always related somehow to property management. And I think a lot of agents, I know in my experience, I've handled rentals, I've represented tenants, I've represented owners. And it is a lot of work. It's nearly the same amount of almost as if you were buying or selling.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of the process is the same. But at the end of the day, I would not do it again knowing what I know now.
Right.
And I've done it plenty of times, and so far as knock on something, so far so good. But knowing what I know now, I would not begin to dabble in any sort of leasing, renting, property management, owner tenant, nothing.
It's so funny. I feel like you have to be built for that. Right?
I mean, it is a bit of a challenge. I mean, my mother-in-law has several properties that she manages that I help her with when she needs it. But we just started our property management side of Pixel, and it has been a challenge. I've noticed this year that there's a difference, right? There's property management, like that entails managing the property, meaning you're making sure the rent's paid, you're making sure any maintenance requests are getting fulfilled, you're making sure the deposit is transferred over into an interest-bearing savings account. You can do that. Doesn't have to be there, but it has to be in its own separate account and accounted for.
Right.
And so the challenge is real estate agents will come in and they'll be like, oh, I'll just property management, like you said. But their idea of it is they'll come in, they'll get the tenant in there, and then they're done.
Yes.
And they just collect. And that's not what...
That's probably where all the FREC complaints must come from.
I'm sure some of them are, for sure.
So, yeah, property management's been an interesting thing this year. I've had a lot of agents requesting to do it. And then when I tell them everything that's involved, they're like, well, let me think about it. Because there's a lot of rentals right now. People are like, oh, I don't want to buy, but can you help me find a place? So that market has definitely picked up this year. But trying to get the agents to understand even just that part has been a challenge because there's a non-lawyer disclosure that's affiliated with leases. You have to use the blanket lease that's there. You can't create your own. And a lot of landlords want to create their own lease. So that's a whole thing.
And some of them do. And some of them insist on their clauses being added to ours. And our attorneys generally not
No clauses.
ready to do that.
Please don't add a clause.
Yep.
So I have tea questions. Can we jump to tea?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
jump to tea.
Okay. I mean, for you specifically.
Oh, God.
Don't worry. I'm not going to ask. Let's talk about time. We talked about this before we went live. We had an event that we did and we were at. And first of all, time. And then I also want to talk about people who overtalk people. Let's talk about time first, though. What is your feeling and what is your experience? And then we'll share ours of events where people show up late. What's your feeling on that? And remember, as a realtor, there's a lot of realtors that show up late. So can we talk a little bit about the tardiness? Because I feel like it's become epidemic rather than just a small group of people.
First of all,
I'm sorry.
I no longer feel like a guest. I feel like I was a henchman that was tricked into coming here to say the hard things.
Totally. No, we're going to jump right in.
no,
but
we're gonna say them
We
too.
just wanted another voice to say them.
I will say the hard things, but no warning on that. That's cool.
No.
So first of all, I believe that you teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
And when people tell you something, pay attention because they're usually not lying.
Right.
I think that it has become very pervasive in this local real estate culture for events to have a wider window. Agents know that everyone else knows that they're not going to show up on time. So even though it says 10:30, it's actually 11. And so they're going to push that and then they're going to push that. And I've actually been in a couple of situations where, and I have been the situation where I'm expecting something to start. I show up a few minutes early, I'm prepared, I'm ready to go. And 40 minutes later, we start introductions.
Yeah.
Okay, but I blocked out my morning to go to this thing or spend this time or have a training or whatever it was. And to me, it feels very disrespectful of my time. If you're going to have a social hour before, that's cool.
Well, you got to tell
Say it.
people that though, right?
And that goes
Yes.
back to the teach people how to treat you. So outline what it is. And I have made the mistake. So after a few events like that, I have shown up late thinking it was just kind of a open house, in and out, drop by sort of thing. And no, there was a presenter speaking and it looked just like all the other events I'd gone to.
No rhyme or reason, really.
But I think
Why do you think?
if we're more intentional about what we're trying to do, I think that that makes a lot of sense. And as it relates to events, and probably time as well, I think that we have diluted and devalued a lot of what we're offering to agents.
Yes. Let's
Everything's
talk about that.
free. Everything's free. Not only is it free, we'll feed you. Not only is it free, but you get 2 drink tickets if you sign up. Not only is it, I mean, it's like people falling all over themselves to do free CMAs for somebody that's never going to sell a house. You have to,
for sure.
you have to be conscious of your time as well. But I think that I told you, like, it's a penny press. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. Maybe there does need to be value like CE tied to it rather than just a general speaker. I mean, if you're going to have a representative from a business talk about their business, I don't think you should charge people for a commercial. But if you're going to have someone actually provide training, then there's value there. And when you show people that look, here's the value. I understand the value. If you'd like in on it, here's where you get a ticket. And I don't think it has to be expensive, but I do think that we are devaluing and diluting a lot of what we have to offer just by throwing it out there and see who shows up.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with the whole tardiness of people, even with my partners, as they know, as they're very patient with me when I get upset about timeliness. But my life is very much, I have to live by a schedule because I am so busy. So when I'm hosting an event or something like that, or I have a meeting and the person is not necessarily on time, or they're like, oh, hey, I'm getting a late start today. I'll be there as soon as I can. And it's kind of like, okay, well, are you respecting my time? And so, it kind of weighs on you. I mean, obviously there's cases where people have kids and they're like, had to run by the school and drop something off. I totally get that. Like children are the most unpredictable things in anyone's life. So like I get those things. But if you pick a time and you schedule it with me, that is the one thing that like drives me nuts.
My number one pet peeve.
Same.
Especially if it's like a Saturday, like, because I try and make myself available to my agents on the weekend. I know they, some of them have jobs and stuff like that. Not that I don't think any of them have done it here on a weekend, but like if it were to happen, I would be so upset. Like that's my weekends are my family time. And so for me, that's when I get to spend time with my partners and, what I enjoy doing.
Well,
or
I think
cleaning the house.
Oh God, that'll never be on my top list. I think people, it's funny because I've had people get indignant about the fact that they're late and now I can't accommodate their schedule. And that seems to be becoming more and more. I had somebody recently, we were supposed to meet at 10. They texted me at 10 after and said, I'm about 5 minutes out. About 10:30, I text them and said, I don't have time to meet with you anymore. And then they said, but I'm in the garage. And I go, well, come up and get your ticket stamped so that you can get out of the garage. And they're like, I can't believe you're not going to make time. I said, well, I have an 11 o'clock.
You made time.
I made an hour.
You made the time for that.
And there's no point in you coming up here for 20 minutes.
So was it a new agent?
No,
Or a person?
I wish it. Oh, was it a new person?
Well, like,
Yes.
okay. So here's my thing.
Yes, it
I
was.
notice a lot of times whenever there are, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I told you were doing that. It's all right. It's fine.
All right. Hold on. So a lot of times I've noticed that with newer agents that they tend to maybe take this more as like a lender, for example. Oh, well, he's lucky to get my business.
Oh,
like
very
that
much
mentality. I'm not saying all new agents, and there's some seasoned agents that definitely think that.
Absolutely. But
But from my experience, it's when it's a newer agent, I find that the sense of like respect just isn't in there yet because they're new and they don't know that like, hey, these are just as important. Because sometimes people look at real estate agents or whatever Ted does. I'm just kidding. I'm just
no,
kidding.
it's totally fair.
And they're like, oh, he's just sitting at the Citrus Club all day long.
Right.
But he's not, because I've been there with him sitting at the Citrus Club.
It's a marathon.
We're both working.
marathon.
And we're just sitting at the same table. So I see him on his laptop. I see him working. I see him doing that. And like people, I've seen him waiting on people.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I have an 11 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, I'll just move to another table when they get here. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I look at the clock. It's 11:15. His 11 o'clock hasn't shown up.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, she's always late." It I'm using that as an example.
No,
I'm not
it's
calling
true.
anybody out, but like having that mentality, like, would you do that for your clients? I don't know.
I think they do. That's the problem. The same people who are late to meetings with me are the same people that I think struggle mainly because they can't deliver on the things that they need to deliver on timely. I've got somebody that I'm doing a open house with who I'm relatively sure we won't get any of the information out until, and this is not the one you're thinking, just so you know, I knew it. I could feel it. Like I don't have my glasses on. I can't see you, but could feel it. It's not that person at all. I have
Laura.
somebody that wants to do one. It's not Laura,
It's Laura.
either. I'm talking totally about her. That's the whole thing's about calling you out.
Listen,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take it.
But
Take
they want
one
to
for
do
the
it this
team.
weekend, and it's Monday, and they said, well, I think I will have everything ready by Thursday or Friday. And I said, well, why are we doing the open house then?
Right.
Because what is the point? I know the point. The point is to make the seller happy. In their brains, anything, even if no one shows up, is better than not doing something. But it's such a disservice. And
It is. It's not-
that's their poor planning. That has nothing to do with the fact that they don't have lenders and title companies and brokers who could be their resource to help them get ready for it. They're just not good at time management.
Right. But I think that's part of the problem with having these lack of trainings. in the industry, and it's learned that people don't teach things like that. Like, why do we do open houses? It's not just so you can take a selfie.
I teach things like that.
Yes, you do. And we're gonna get to your we're gonna get to education with you in a minute.
Break, and you're coming back now. So you did have a little break, which is good. We all need a break.
We were on a break.
But
we're on a break.
We're back.
We're back.
You're back.
So anyway, any of you people out there that are late all the time, none of us like it. Just so you know, we're not happy with it.
When you walk into an event,
if you haven't gotten that from this podcast, understand that none of us are happy. We think it's disrespectful, and honestly, you need to do better.
Speaking of disrespectful, I've been in not just the timeliness, since we're talking about people coming in, but like when you're doing an event and people like, oh, I got to. They got to step out and take a call from a client or something like that.
Well, at least
like,
they step out.
I know, which is fine. But like sometimes I'm like, was it really that urgent? Like your client, I'm sure in their mind is like, oh my God, I need to answer this now. Just send them a quick text.
Their drug dealer.
And say,
not their person. Let's talk a little bit about interrupting meetings. And then I want to get to your education part because I think it's very important.
Yes.
So we were at an event. It was my event. And we had somebody sitting next to Laura who talked just this loud while the speaker, who was right over there, like near the TV, maybe 10 feet from me, 5 feet,
really?
Talked as loud to the person next to him as if the speaker wasn't there. You
would not have an inside voice.
You would think that that's rare. It's not. I had to look at somebody at the Aura meeting the other day. And if you're that person, I'm sorry I scared the crap out of you, but I swear to God, I just turned around and looked and she jumped. There's a 102-year-old woman at the front of the Aura thing for the Veterans Day.
Oh.
And I swear to God, the lady behind me starts talking to the person next to her just like this, literally this loud. You couldn't even hear the lady. So I turned around and she jumped and I think she left.
Oh,
I'm glad you left. I just want to let you know. But it's because you had other things to talk about. So good. Go do your business, but don't talk about it in front of other people and make other people's experiences.
Well, especially if there's a 102-year-old woman up there
God
speaking
bless her.
that was a veteran. Like,
and she's,
man.
God bless her. She was amazing. 102-year-old.
I was just assuming that whomever it was probably forgot their hearing aids. Kind of like when you're singing along, but you have your headphones in, you don't realize how loud you are.
It was wild. And then everybody turned around at the same time.
So as it relates to time management, and somebody just said something about agents taking calls during events and stepping out and the disruption that can cause. And it really does come back to time management. But I always think I was at an RE bar camp in New Jersey 100 years ago. And we were sitting in a circle in this room and time management was kind of the big thing we were talking about. And this lady said, yeah, I know, but if they call and they want to see a house, that's how I make a living. I have to go show them the house. And I said, right, but they can also make an appointment with you. That's how professional life works. Yes. She said, no, I don't want to risk it. I've absolutely, no matter what. And I said, listen, hypothetically, let's say that you had a mammogram scheduled for 3:00. True story. And it's a specialist. It's very difficult. Those appointments are booked out. And I said, if you had that appointment at 3:00 and someone called you this morning and said, hey, they want to go look at houses at 3:00, you'd go to your appointment, right?
She probably said no.
She did say no. She looked me right in the eyes and said, no, of course not. I'd reschedule. Ooh, yeah. How on earth are you putting your own health and well-being aside?
Money
every day
for someone who these are people who are also not pre-qualifying their people.
Oh no, they probably don't even have a BBA.
If you pop up and run to a showing,
BBC,
how do you know if that person is even eligible to purchase a property?
None of it.
BBL.
None of it. So
anyway,
education. You did an event recently, and believe it or not, I'm going to tell a true story. It was a vision board, but we didn't call it that. We called it something else, and it was such a great event. I have my little vision board on the refrigerator. Oh. Now, I did a terrible job with glue sticks. Apparently, that is not my forte. So there's only 3 of the little things left on it, but they're still there. And I thought that was so good, and people really loved it. I loved the setup, but I also loved how you framed it and the education part of it. So talk a little bit about education. It's very important to you.
It is. If I always say, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, if I saw myself as a person in training or education, I would have laughed at you. Absolutely not. That is not my jam. And I had an opportunity, it was actually online prior to COVID, to do some instruction and found out that I really enjoyed it. I'm the sort of person that if you're going to come to me with a problem, that's cool, but you need to come to me with a suggestion for what we should do about it too. Like I'm not here to just smooth it all over. I will help you. So what do you think we should do about it? And so many agents were coming in at that point in time and still continue to come in that really don't know. They don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And so rather than just complain about all of these agents, I decided maybe I should step up. And that's really kind of how it all got started. So training in general, yes, new agents specifically, because there are so many things that they just simply don't know. And some of I think a lot of times it's stuff we take for granted. So, for example, the video conversation we had.
Yes.
We were in a training recently that had to do with video and AI and several other things, and it was a great session.
I led it. That's why. Just so we know.
Oh,
You were there.
Yeah, there were a ton of people there.
And it was very well attended. It was very well received. It was a fantastic session, but there was a segment of the attendees who were just deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Because to try to do something with AI was so far beyond where they were.
Right.
And so I texted Ted and I said, listen, I'm going to write a 101 class for video, and we're all just going to show up and sit in a reading circle or something and take our phones out, because it really doesn't have to be that complicated, but it really is that important. So rather than here's 5 apps you can download, how about open up your phone, let's work with what we've got.
That was such an interesting perspective you had, because I loved the apps stuff, but the problem is we didn't have a whiteboard we were writing on. So I loved your idea of actually making people bring out their phones. I've done that before. I've done a TikTok class where we taught TikTok. People downloaded the app back in the day, I guess, when you could. And we did very instructional kind of stuff. So when they left there, they actually had an account and they kind of understood how to make a video because they all made one. And I think that's your vision, right? To really show people how to do it, bring it down to the level, because people are afraid of video.
They are.
So let me ask you this, because we're talking about education. And so I mentioned what you put on, what she puts on, everything to my agents sometimes. And I get this response a lot from multiple people, not just people at my company, but like other places. And I'll say, hey, have you attended well, why would I do that? And I try, and they're like, well, I already know what I'm doing, and I'm, what? So, but agents, there's not just an educational aspect to it, right? We're all independent agents, essentially. You're your own business. You don't work in an office with people. And so what do you say to those people? It's not that I'm always like, it's not just about the education. It's about finding your community. It's about having colleagues to vent to that understand you.
Right.
I can complain about XYZ all day long, but Jacob and Edward are going to be like, They're not going to understand it because they don't work it. They don't experience it every day, like in the field, dealing with these real estate agents and these clients and sellers and property management and all that stuff. So what would you say to those people who say that about classes like that you teach?
I think that the idea of finding your community is really strong.
Yeah.
What I've seen more of is brokers and obviously you're the exception, Ben.
You are the exception.
Brokers not wanting to push it out or encourage people to go, because I think a lot of people are afraid that training is going to be a recruiting event and they're going to lose agents. Now, hopefully they're doing a great job and their agents wouldn't want to leave anyway. Usually I have my stuff pretty white labeled. It's branded to me, if anything. Yeah. And I am not brokering an office, so I'd like to think I'm a neutral in all of that. But having that community is very important. Trying to come home and have a conversation about what happened at work today, but first you have to tell 3 side quests to make them understand why what happened at work today was so important. It's exhausting, but you have to be able to talk about it. I think explaining the value, here's one example. Especially if you're new, no one knows you. And this is a huge market, but I think a lot of, you can sell anywhere, but I think a lot of people kind of have a little bit of an area that they're comfortable in or a radius. So chances are you're going to see some of the same agents over and over. If you go to a training event, if you go to an association event, something like that, and you actually say hello and network and, exchange cards or whatever it is that you need to do, one of these days you're going to be on the opposite side of a deal from someone. And they may not know anybody else that submitted an offer, but they remember you. That's beneficial. That absolutely, maybe, for example, somebody wants to buy a house in Lakeland. Well, I would absolutely refer that to someone. Sure. We have people from Tampa, from Lakeland, all over the place that come up here for trainings. So being able to network with those folks, I'm not an expert on Lakeland. I've been there 2 or 3 times. It's a lovely place, but I'm not an expert. So I would refer that business. I prefer to refer people to people that I actually know.
It's also a disservice too. Like if you're a real estate agent that operates in Orlando and somebody's like, hey, I'm moving to Tampa. You're like, I can do that. You don't know, like, unless you've sold in Tampa, sure. But like, if somebody were to come to me, I'm going to be like, hey, that's only an hour and a half drive for me. But I can't because I don't know the area. I'm not going to know what you're looking for. I'm not going to be able to direct you and like help you with the process, like not steer them obviously.
Right.
But like, if they were like, oh, I want something that's hilly, I'm not going to know where the hills are. Here, I'm like, right, my backyard.
Do they have any of those over there? I think that the difference between Altamont Springs and Lake Nona is severe.
Oh, yes.
We're all Orlando, but even just that is pretty significant. I had an agent previously, a very experienced agent, but she would sell Davenport to Sanford. How? Oh my, now she's from here. She's been here a long time. She knows all of those markets and she could do that very comfortably. Most people can't do that. So it comes back to micro markets. Every place that I've ever sold real estate, you can go to a neighborhood and on either side of the street, there are 2 different communities. This one's like red bushes and this one's blue bushes. Same builder, same approximate age, same amenities, everything's basically the same. But this side of the street sells for $350 and this side sells for $275. There's no real explanation other than the people in that community know that.
Right.
And so if you're not from there, you don't know that, and that matters.
I have a saltier answer for you. I've been asking this a lot, and I think when somebody asks you, why would I do that? I would ask them what their production numbers are. Because a lot of people are doing the same crap over and over again, and they're not producing. What is the average? The national average is horrible as far as production goes. And I would say, what's your production? If your production is exactly where you need it to be, you're loving life, you've got your yacht or whatever makes you happy, fantastic. But if you don't, I don't. Most of us don't. But why? So why wouldn't you want to learn from other people? Obviously, what you're doing is not producing the results that you want. So why would you not explore other things? And if they don't like it, check out their numbers, because a lot of people are full of crap. That's a whole nother show later, guys. We got to talk about numbers and how people pretend. But I feel like that's a good way to get back or to talk to people and really talk them out of, I'm doing everything I can, and the way I do it, I like it, but is it really producing you the results that you want to have? So that's my thought process. Salty.
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 Salty. Good point. What's your I'm going to do one more thing.
Okay.
Before we leave. You got to make it juicy.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
What is your biggest pet peeve go off in real estate? What drives you up the wall? Could be clients, agents.
Honest to goodness, it's time. It absolutely, especially when things here are so spread out. You know, from where I live to basically everywhere is an hour. I budget an hour of travel time. Depending on where I'm going, like Nona would be even more time than that. So if we have a 1 hour meeting planned, I'm blocking 3 hours out of my day for you. If you don't show, or you show up late, or all the things we talked about earlier, that's huge for me. That's a lot of work that I could have been doing in another arena. So and I've had it happen with agents. I've scheduled trainings and meetings and all kinds of stuff, and can't mandate it. You can just really encourage it.
Yep.
So, they don't have to, so they won't. And that can be really frustrating because the people who are putting these on, whether it's a training or a sales meeting, there's prep that goes into that. So you want it to be beneficial for someone.
For sure, yeah.
Do I get to answer too?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Give me your
My number
grind.
one pet peeve, we've talked about this before, but never in specifics, is fake and or inept trainers and or coaches in the real estate world. And the reason that I hate it is because there are people that will flock to them. And the message that they're giving them is so negative and so condescending and so counterproductive. And many of these people have never even been in the real estate world. And I would love to know what their current production is if they are in the real estate world, because I feel like the information that they give them is so bad.
Well, sometimes it's illegal. Like I've been there.
Totally
for
illegal.
Some of those for like coaching, like people,
And
and
it gives us good people a good
Camilla
a bad name.
is one that I advise all of my agents do not go, because it is not sound advice. I am a big compliance person, and if you're giving advice that's not compliant, and I even mentioned it, and I was met with, no, that's not true. I have another person that told me that you can do that, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm a broker and I read the laws. I'm a super nerd when it comes to contracts and everything. Like that's my jam, and so I just had to be like, not really great advice. I'm gonna advise my agents to kind of be
That's
cautious
smart of
of
you to
taking
do
that
that.
advice. Well, because I mean, when my agents succeed, I succeed. I succeed.
Correct.
I can't talk
I
today.
think it comes back to, and this is probably a whole different
No, you're
thing,
good.
but honestly, a lot of those events and opportunities and subscriptions and things like that, it's not as much about the content as it is the marketing. It really comes back to the marketing. The ones who are successful are the ones who are pushing, they know how to push that out. Now, a lot of real estate sales will come back to prospecting and marketing. So it's not that marketing is a bad thing, but just because they're really good at getting their message out doesn't mean they know what they're talking about as it
100%.
relates to residential real estate
Yes.
or anything else for that matter. So, if I had, my God, I could have an OnlyFans if I just had time for more marketing.
That is for another conversation.
That's
But that's what it all comes back to.
What's your pet peeve?
Mine, and currently I think my biggest pet peeve, just because of my job. I'm a broker, obviously, so I'm always looking for people to join my brokerage. But I meet with people who are unhappy at their brokerages, and I know they're unhappy because people tell me they're unhappy before I meet with them. And I meet with them, and obviously just the whole recruitment process really gets on my nerves. And the reason why is, first I sit down with me and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I look young.
Can you bring your dad?
Whatever. I'm like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm confident that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And so I've kind of had to put that aside, and I just turn it into a joke every time I meet with somebody. I'm just like, yeah, let's get this out of the way. I'm 35. Soon I can say I'm 36. Woo. But besides that point, like, I've met with people and, I've got my voice cracks and all this stuff. And then they end up going somewhere and then they change their mind 2 months after they're there. They're like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. When if they would have picked I'm not saying me, but like I know some of the other brokerages that these people have been interviewing with. And there are a few out there that I'm like, they would have been fine there. It's not always about me, but like, don't pick a worse situation just because somebody promised you the stars.
Right.
Look at what they're offering you and ask the question, well, what do I actually get?
Correct.
And most of it has to be the same anymore to function, to operate. Everyone is pretty much offering the same thing. Some of it is click here and some of it is knock on the door.
Right.
And depending on your learning style, that could make a huge difference. I think that there is plenty of room for innovation. I think that we have several different business models, whether it's traditional or up in the cloud, however it is that you do it. And I think a business model is a neutral. It's morally neutral, basically. But it's not going to be the best fit for every single agent. And people who, again, don't know what they don't know are looking at the dollar signs. This one, if I trip and fall and sell a house, this one's going to make me more money. But that may not be the best one to teach them how to trip and fall and sell a house. So that, I think that makes a difference.
You're also honest. I think a lot, and which I want you to never change. But a lot of times these people are being recruited, people who are full of shit. And so they say stuff and they realize, all right, I know exactly what they want to hear. So I'm going to tell them all the things they want to hear. And if they had just do a deep dive into the agents they have and maybe check with some of the agents who were newer to see what their experience was, I think that they would get a bigger picture. But unfortunately, some people are more flashy, and you're not flashy, and I love that about you. You're just honest and authentic.
I was telling her, I was like, I could have millions of dollars. I would still prefer shorts and a t-shirt every day of my life. Like that is me through and through. I might buy a nice car, but like I'm not going to buy like a Bentley. Like, maybe a nicer version of my EV9. I love that freaking thing. It's like
Is that the Kia out there?
Yeah, it's my dad mobile.
Your dad mobile.
Yeah.
No, I think you offer so much to agents, and I think some of them, because they've heard some other flashier word, they're not buying into it. I honestly don't know why anybody would worry about your age. It seems so stupid.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for somebody with experience, and like obviously my numbers are all from the DMV area, and then DC, Virginia, Maryland, she gets it. And then Ohio. And so it's hard for me to come down here and be like, well, I'm not really practicing anymore because I'm building this. And they're like, well, what have you done? And I'm like, well, I know what So I've started selling again just to get my numbers up, and and I've got people asking me, but I still don't take any of the leads from my pool.
What, you're not a competing broker?
No, that's not a thing according to.
Don't get me started. Oh God, no. Yeah. I'm not going to say her name.
I do the
three
same
times
thing.
and she appears. Sorry. I don't know. It is called Realty, isn't it?
No,
my
you're
word.
right.
I was just going to say, I do the same thing as far as it relates to coaches and gurus and whomever who maybe sold a couple houses and then figured out the marketing program. It's very important to me that I am practicing what I preach, literally. So my sales numbers are not exciting, but I'm still out there doing the things on the regular. I mean, people don't realize real estate law changes, feels like constantly, but at least once or twice a year, something's, and then NAR wants to throw something in there. And so,
and then the forms change every 3 months. Thanks, NAR. But they still can't seem to. Oh, don't get me started.
That should be a whole nother show.
Don't get me started. But there's still no section on the listing agreements for it to say variable commission, or just something to say owner or seller will consider commission at offer presentation. Like when an offer is presented, just let the buyers submit their offers with it. Like, I don't understand why we can't. Never mind. Sorry. I'm gonna get worked up.
Let's talk about that offline, because there is some of that around, but that's not an NAR thing. That's just a reaction to the NAR thing. And because we're such a litigious society,
but our forms come from Florida realtors, most of the time.
Approved by the Florida bar, and they have to be legal in the state of Florida. But you can't take a Florida form and use it in Michigan.
Well, yeah, no, I know that.
So
there's a Florida bar.
Yeah.
Always interested in the bar.
I don't know, because there's some loopholes. I don't like them.
I'm sorry. I will get us off task every damn time.
No, it's fine. Anyways, but yeah, no, I fully agree. Let me get off the NAR thing.
All right. So where are we at? Are we wrapping it up?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I think.
I love it. Any parting words of wisdom?
No.
Where can they find you, Laura?
I'm afraid to say anything more at this point.
Oh, your fabulous videos you do.
Oh, goodness.
That's right. They're awesome.
It just occurred to me the other day that I really do need to finish. I took a hiatus from social media in general. I had someone the other day ask me for my Instagram, and before I gave it to them, I went and looked, and the last time I'm going to go to real estate hell for this. The last time I'd posted on Instagram was November of 2023.
Oh. Wow.
We all need a break,
And beyond that, it was pretty much just my dogs.
Well, we love
for
dogs.
months before that. And before that, it was just, my fun bracelets that I was making during COVID. So there wasn't much, but you are your brand. Yes. So I do have a separate real estate page, but I have not updated that because the people who know me, I have disclosures on my personal Facebook page, but that's kind of, and I'm old. So that's kind of where you can find me is on Facebook. There are 4 or 5 of us, Laura Fengmans, throughout the country. One of them is a teacher in, I think, Texas, and she is adorable, and we're friends. And so I get to see her live. She's fantastic. There's another lady in Ohio that did not accept my friend request, but
Well, that's not nice.
that's
That seems
her
like
choice.
An Ohioan, though. I'm
That
from Ohio.
was her
No
choice.
doubt.
That's fine.
No offense to the Ohioans.
But hopefully, pretty soon, I will have the work TikTok up and going again.
I'll get you on TikTok.
Oh,
love TikTok.
I've got 2 different TikTok accounts. I've got a personal
She's
one
pro.
and a work
Never
one.
mind. Show me how to
I just
use it.
haven't been doing anything the last
I'm
few
really
years.
bad.
So.
I haven't done mine either. I need to get my one
I need to
magical
get back.
gay back up and running.
One magical gay. With that, how do we find you,
All
Ben?
right. Well, you could find me on all the platforms. Not OnlyFans. Not yet. Excuse me. So I am on Facebook, or you can always email me at ben.m@ipixelrealty.com if you ever want to be on the show or anything like that, or just inquire about Pixel Realty.
That's right. And I'm Ted Bogert. If you don't know, you can find me everywhere, social media. You can call me 407-810-5670.
He's like,
I don't care. Reach out to me. I'd love to help you. If you have ideas for Realty or have an idea for us or maybe a situation you want us to share in our very, very weak code that we have for other people, we would love to hear more, but we want to bring you the Realty every week. Are we every week?
we're trying, but
We're
the
working on
holidays
it.
are coming up, so we're going to take a little hiatus.
Give yourself some grace.
Yes. Give yourself. Oh my God.
We'll be back
Where have I
in
heard that before?
January.
Back in January.
Also, happy holidays. Our house
Happy
is decorated.
holidays.
And with that, we'll
Cheers.
go ahead and cheers to Realty.
To Realty.
Have a great one.
Have a good one.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you guys.
Cheers,
Well,
me.
cheers.
Thank you.
Sorry.
She's all the way over there. We'll cheers
I'm very
after.
far.
She's
I'm not
clinky.
even-
Thanks for joining. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.